top and wait for my instruction. Ladies and gentlemen, I teach 6th and 7th grade English at North Middle High School in North South Carolina, and each day is a new day. I told my students, I said, this is my first year in the classroom. However, I've been in education for the past 6 years, so don't try me. Jonathan stands up, he looks at me, he says, Mr. Highland, I peed in my pants for 6 years, top there. But you never kill a kid's dream. Panel contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, friends, and anyone that has ever met an inquisitive child. Each day is a new day in my classroom. But I've come to find that it's been my experience that you have to be great at 3 things in order to be a great teacher. Number 1, you must be a great manager of your classroom. I can remember giving them an assignment, and I told them you can write a letter to someone living or dead that was famous. One girl said, can I write to Iggy Azalea? I said, sure. She looks at me, she says, Mr. Highland, how do you spell Iggy? The class says, or Jonathan looks at her, he says, who that? Who that? And in the greatest expression of choral harmony, the class says, I-G-G-Y. I said, ladies and gentlemen, that is inappropriate. You will not do that in my class. Jonathan stands up, he says, I like big butts and I cannot lie. I said, Jonathan, sit down. You cannot sing that song unless you sing the remix. I said, Mr. Highland, there's a remix? I said, oh yes, I made it up. You can learn it today. You want to learn it? He said, yes, sir. I said, here's how you have to pay attention. I like big boots and I cannot lie. He said, Mr. Highland, I'm not singing that. I said, okay, don't sing in my class. Number 2, you have to be a great coach. I coach middle school boys football, so each day on the football field as well as in the classroom, it's another world. A student runs up to me while we're doing drills and he says, Mr. Highland, Jonathan's bothering me. I said, Jonathan, come here. What did you say to him? He said, he was talking about my mom, so I had to say something about his. I said, well, what did you say? He said, I told him, your mama's so fat, she sat on an iPod and made an iPad. Jonathan, that is inappropriate. Go apologize. But you never kill a kid's dream, so as he walked away, I kind of laughed. Number 3, you must be a great tutor across subject areas. He said, Mr. Highland, I need help in my other classes. My teachers, they just don't understand me like you do. I said, well, what is it that I do differently? He said, you listen. I said, okay, where are you having problems? He said, social studies, math. I said, don't say science. I am not good at science, and I will probably do more hurt than help. So he looks at me, he says, they just don't understand me. I said, well, what was the problem? He said, in social studies class, we were talking about the Statue of Liberty, the origins, and the structure, and my teacher said something I really didn't understand. I said, well, what did she say? He said, we were talking about the Statue of Liberty. I said, okay, I got it the first time. He said, she held 2 things, a torch and a tablet. A torch and a tablet. I said, well, what's the issue? He said, Mr. Highland, Apple wasn't created back then. I said, it was a stone tablet, Jonathan, a stone tablet. Because you never kill a kid's dream. I said, okay, math. I'm good at math. Let's go. I said, you know what? Let's take it one step further. Why don't you write the problem on the board, and then we can go from there. How about that? How does that sound? He said, you are not ready, Mr. Highland. I said, okay. I gave him the marker. He walks up to the board. He says, Jonathan has 42 candy bars. See, he tried to put my name in the problem to confuse me, but I'm smarter than him, Mr. Highland. I said, okay. He said, Jonathan has 42 candy bars. Jonathan ate 40 candy bars. What does Jonathan have? Look at him. Ideologically, I would think he would say 2. He looks at me with a stern look. He says, Mr. Highland, think about it. Jonathan has 42 candy bars. I said, yes, 42. Jonathan ate 40 candy bars. What does Jonathan have? I said, well, what does he have? Diabetes. But you never kill a kid's dream. He walked into my class the next day. He said, Mr. Highland, I passed my quiz. I said, is that the paper? He handed it to me with a great smile on his face. He said, yes, I passed. Reviewing the paper, turn it over as if the number would change. change. I said, Jonathan, you failed. He said, no, I didn't. It says +2.